Suck up my peen.
Suck my peen.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 6th Immature Hour podcast.
I thought you were about to say annual. I was like, don't you fucking...
No, I think about it every time. the fucking, what's it called? Like the fifth triathlon event.
It's a triathlon of annoying all of our listeners.
Yeah, how we doing so far? My name's Eric.
My name's Alex.
My name's John.
What an ass.
Got him.
John. My name's John.
And we're gonna do our best to entertain you guys for an hour, or roughly an hour.
And welcome to our podcast called Immature Hour, where we all have opinions and nobody gives really any fucks about that.
Especially mine. My name's John. I don't know what I'm talking about.
God damn it, Ben.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
I mean, it's a pretty good imitation of John, I will
Fucking
say.
John.
But,
All right.
So, before we start off on the podcast, I have an adventure story to tell you.
Woo!
Which
wait,
people who are listening to this are gonna be like, why the fuck is he talking about this on a podcast?
It's going
not
on a
important.
tangent here, huh?
Like right
No.
off the bat.
No, because I planned this. It's not a tangent if it's planned.
Tangent time with Alex.
It's now known as a plangent.
A plangent.
Somebody write that shit down. That's gold.
It's funnier than it should be.
Or maybe you're dumber than you should be.
Maybe. My name's John. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yeah, so yesterday, the day before we recorded this podcast, I decided I'm gonna make a trip to Houston to go to IKEA. That's the name of the cabinet.
Wow, the cabinet is literally named Alex.
Yes,
I
literally.
thought-
That is meant for you, bruh.
I really thought IKEA posted like this is
They're like,
for Alex.
"Here's
No,
their custom made."
No, it was funny because like I saw that and I saw the name on it and I thought that one of y'all were gonna think that. Doesn't matter. Like as soon as I was like, one of these assholes is gonna think that they printed it on there for me.
Dude, it's IKEA, man. I don't know.
I've
Fucking-
never been in an IKEA before.
Dude, me either. Yeah, so we spoiled it. Spoilers. I went to IKEA
Oh
yesterday.
shit! Sorry.
No.
My name's John.
So we I'm working on building a new computer desk setup, and so I took a trip to Houston to go to IKEA. We live in Lafayette, Louisiana, and there's no IKEAs in Louisiana, so you have
Right
to...
now, everybody knows where we're gonna be at, and they're gonna be like paparazzi outside our door.
Oh, yeah,
I doubt
we're
that.
Super famous right now.
Hey, 55 subscribers,
99 cents.
99 cents revenue.
Holy shit, we're at 99 cents?
Yeah, we are.
We're
Yes.
at 67 cents like 4 days ago.
99 cents.
Making that
I seen
sweet
a
bank,
picture of that
y'all.
this
Y'all
morning.
better start making YouTube channels.
Man, I better get my peen sucked now. Holy shit.
Don't choke, bud.
Yeah, I just choked on my coffee.
Back it up a little bit, Alex. Eric's choking.
It's
It's too early for this shit.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, so
Okay, John.
So we made me and my buddy Patrick, we made a trip out to IKEA, and this is my first time ever being to IKEA, and that was a fucking adventure. Like, holy crap! Let me tell you about these guys about this. So,
Tell me about it.
So people who are listening to this podcast, you've probably been to IKEA. It's like, what's this asshole talking about? It's a furniture store. What the hell? But it was like a magical land to me.
Stop saying funny shit when I drink coffee.
Stop drinking coffee.
I'm sorry, I'm just hilarious. Like coming from I come from a fucking town with like 10,000 people and a Walmart, so things like that are like,
Walmart's big shit.
dude, like literally, it was the only Walmart in the entire parish. Come on,
Oh,
dude.
man. That's...
Like, and it also that was the biggest city in the entire parish too. All the other towns are like village towns, like 500 people.
By the way, parish is county.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we should explain that.
Yeah. So we went to IKEA, and whenever you pull up to it, the building is enormous. It's like 3 stories tall, and it's like just fucking huge.
Fucking 3 stories?
Like probably it
For
was
one store?
It was definitely at least 2 floors because there's 2 floors that you go on.
Okay.
But it looked like it could have been three stories tall, and the parking lot was enormous, like bigger, like probably the size of the mall here in Lafayette, like probably the size of that parking lot.
Okay.
And the whole store actually could have been close to the size of the entire mall as well. The store was huge; it was enormous. Whenever you first walk in, you're first greeted with the entire first floor. As soon as you walk in, is nothing but like gift shops and convenience stores, and then there's an escalator. And whenever you walk up, there's a kiosk that has a bunch of little pencils and like a little map. And you can use the map to find out where you're going. And on the back, it has like slots where like whenever you're going through the store, find the item that you like, and you can write it down on there. And so basically the best way to describe it is whenever you go up the escalator, that's whenever you start the quote unquote shopping, where basically the map takes you through all the how they organize everything. And it's basically for lack of better terms, it's kind of like a rooms to go, where
Okay.
like everything is set up in like rooms to have all the items on display.
Question.
Yes.
Do they sell couches?
Yeah.
I need to buy a fucking couch.
Dude, they sell.
Let's go back.
Dude, they sell like literally.
Right
they
now.
sell everything.
Right now.
Like you can buy TVs, you can buy anything there.
Holy shit. Okay.
So you walk up and like you have a walk path and it's like fucking winding and shit. So it's like a maze basically. And there's different rooms and layouts of shit all around you. And you can walk up in any room and anything that's in there, it'll have an ID tag on it, and it'll tell you a bin number and a box number. And so if you find something that you like for instance, I found those cabinet drawers that I liked. It said bin 34, or it said aisle 34, bin 1. And so I write that down, and I keep on going, and it just takes you all the way through. And then once you reach the end of it, you go down some stairs, and you find you go into like an area that has individual items that they don't put into those bin sections. Like you can find like pots and pans and stuff like that. Like the bins and stuff is more for stuff you assemble. And then once you go through that area where you're like, I see all these like stools and fucking, I don't know, the plates and wine glasses and stuff. Then you get into this giant open warehouse, like think like Lowe's. So this is all in the same store, by the way. It's like you walk in, like, it's just like this giant open room. It's just like fucking Lowe's or like
Sounds
Home
like
Depot.
Toys R Us for adults.
It really is, dude.
Holy shit. That's a good example.
like if let me put it this way. In our 45 minutes in the store, we heard 6 different languages being spoken by customers.
Wow.
Like we heard
Whoa.
we heard Arabic, we heard German, I'm pretty sure we heard French, probably Spanish. I think I heard some form of, I want to say it might have been Mandarin. It was some form of the Chinese dialect. Like we heard so many different dialects in that place.
I love how he was able to easily identify, man, I heard German in this one. It might have been French. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're from Cajunville.
Well,
you should
'cause
know what French sounds like.
Well, also French and Spanish sound really similar if you're not close enough to hear them. And same thing with Italian, because French, Spanish, and Italian are all Latin-based languages.
Yes.
And they're all very similar.
Okay, fine.
This is a riveting podcast.
Hey man, but I definitely
We had
heard
to talk about gaming.
Yeah, so hey man, it's experiences. Come on.
It's
cool.
great. No, go ahead. No, I'm
And
enjoying this.
and so
I'm
when
enjoying
we walk in,
this.
it's
Go
like a huge warehouse, and basically all the warehouse shelves are just like labeled by aisles. And so everything that you wanted, you find like, oh, I wrote aisle 34 for this. You go to the aisle and you find the bin. It's just a bunch of stacks of like those items boxed, and so you just grab it, you put it in your dolly, and you go on with your way.
Like a full-size actual dolly.
Yeah,
Like not a shopping cart.
No, you can get a shopping cart, or like you can get like a flatbed dolly that you roll around to put shit on.
Nice.
Like a
Okay.
flatbed cart. I guess
Okay.
dolly's a bad thing. Flatbed cart, and you fucking put that shit on there and just roll around. Mm-hmm. And it was like it was an amazing experience because I've never experienced something like that. Like I was blown away because the store is probably like 4 times the size of a Walmart. Has way more employees and way more customers, but was ran way more efficiently.
Were
than a
they
Walmart.
nice employees?
Way nicer than a Walmart employee, that's for sure.
How many aisles? I mean, how many checkout lanes did they have?
Dude, there was
open?
at least 20 being used.
You know-
actually worked.
Hell yeah.
You know you've reached adulthood when you start asking the important questions, like, how was the customer service? Well,
how
I go
many
to the
checkout
Walmart.
lines?
But the countertop, because that's not something you can self-service and get yourself because it's such a big item. They keep it in a back warehouse. So I actually had to find basically find any kind of person that's working. So I'm like, this is what I want to get, and they print you up a piece of paper with a barcode on it. And then
Okay.
once you're done with all this and once you have everything, then after the whole warehouse part, that's whenever you go to the checkout aisles and you check out everything. And so I basically gave the lady my paper with the barcode, scanned it, and she rang it up and priced it, and then it adds the larger items to a queue. And you go off right to the side where there's this waiting room basically with a big TV, and it had like a red section, a yellow section, a green section. Red section, like it has your item number, saying like it hasn't been prepared yet. When it moves to the yellow, that means somebody has scanned it and is getting it. and the green section means it's ready for it to be picked up, and then they'll call out your number. And so it was really efficient. I was really impressed.
Nice.
And so we fucking throw all that shit on the dolly, rolled out, and drove.
How long did you wait for it to go from red to green?
It was a decent wait, but there was a lot of people there. I
Okay.
think we waited probably about 15 minutes. 15, 20 minutes.
It's not too bad.
It wasn't terrible. And that was also like, there was a ton of people waiting for stuff. And so, and like a lot of people were like getting big things, like they're like waiting for mattresses and shit like that.
So you're saying that you need to go back?
Dude,
That
I
you
want to
wanna
go back. That was
That
an
you
amazing
want
experience.
To go back.
Not only that, dude, there's a fucking restaurant and coffee shop in the place.
What?
Yes.
Is it a Shoney's?
No.
Oh.
Shoney's. Fucking assholes.
Fucking John.
But yeah, so it was.
No one's gonna get that.
I know.
It was a really cool experience, and I wanted to tell the story of that. All right, so our next topic that we want to discuss is which we actually realized that we never discussed on a quote unquote released podcast.
I was gonna, before we get into that, I was actually gonna talk about my experience.
Motherfucking tangents.
No, not a tangent. I've been wanting to talk about this.
I'm
But
sorry,
but you didn't tell us.
plangent.
No, you didn't talk about
I'm
it, so it's not
sorry.
a plangent.
I didn't
It's
want
still
to
a
end your
tangent.
spiel on fucking IKEA furniture. Excuse the shit out of me.
Hey, it was a plangent. Thank you very much.
It was a
Plangent.
plangent.
All right, whatever. No, highlight of my day yesterday, oddly enough,
Was you almost
Getting
getting hit by a
hit by-
car?
was, oh no,
Getting
that was
hit by a
Friday.
car?
No, Friday I got stood up and almost got hit by a car. It was a good day.
Ironically.
Yeah. Yesterday, I'm at Play and Trade, and we always put a Twitch video on for people to watch whenever they come in or whatever they want to.
Yeah.
And me and Kane were working, and I was telling Kane, I was like, put on Overwatch. He's like, huh, we should put on Paladins. And I was like, what's Paladins? He's like, you never heard of Paladins? He goes, look up the trailer. Tell me if you notice anything. It is so blatantly Overwatch. It's crazy that they haven't got sued by Blizzard yet. Like, insane. There's one dude, he's like a turtle, but he's basically Roadhog. He's got the chain that you can hook enemies to, like with the anchor or whatever. He's like really big and bulky and everything. There's like the McCree guy, but he's like swapped with a Reaper looking guy. So they like mixed matched abilities for these characters. I had a good time with it.
You know
really
what I
did.
think you should do?
What?
I think you should record yourself playing it and release it tomorrow.
You know what? I think I'll upload it Tuesday. I'll upload it Tuesday. That's
yes,
what
that's what I said, because today's Monday. Shut up. Oh, today's Monday.
Shit. I didn't think about that.
Podcast magic.
We've already explained this before. We fucking record this shit on Sunday morning.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
So,
All
it's
right.
I think you should record yourself.
I've already done it.
I know.
Yeah, I have my whole stash of homemade porn in the other room, dude. You want to watch?
Yeah! Swingers!
Suck my peen.
Suck my brain! Okay.
So we're gonna actually move on.
Inside jokes.
I'm really glad we named this the Immature Hour.
It's true. So we're gonna move into an actual gaming related topic. We
Let's switch it to
Yeah.
the
Ha. Funny.
Oh, puns.
Segways
Segways.
are fun.
So like literally, I love two wheeled segways. Like it's fun. 'Cause
Yeah,
you, like,
right?
you just roll around.
I've never been on
Blart.
one.
Me either.
I want to.
Me too.
Hero.
Like, I'm
We should
watching.
buy one. We should buy a packed house Segway.
Yes, with our $1 or 99 cents.
And then what we do, we finance it for $1, and then we pay the rest off interest free for 3 years.
From cons.
Yeah. And then what we do is anytime we need to make a segue into a podcast, we have somebody roll the segue through the living room. We're like, segue.
Segway.
Dude, we can actually, that's actually that's a brilliant idea for a video segue cut. How, like if we're doing a what's your diss tray?
Guy like segues.
What?
Have
Like-
Gary segue in.
Well, and like, let's say if like we're recording what's your
Naked.
diss tray and I need to cut to another thing, we can have somebody just roll across the screen in a segue and we're like, segue.
That would be beautiful.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch. So,
Yes.
the Nintendo Switch was actually a topic that we talked on our very first podcast, I believe,
Unaired.
that we never released.
Yes.
we recorded 2 podcasts that we never released.
Yeah, probably never will.
No.
Maybe
think-
if we get like really popular and we still got it on file, we'll like upload it. Be like, here,
Yeah.
this is what our first
That
podcast
was
sounded
back
like.
when we were going to name our podcast the Fuck It Bucket.
Yeah,
Yes.
That was awesome.
it was great.
But we'll reserve that for another time. So we're gonna talk about the Switch.
Yes.
We're not gonna go nearly in depth as like we did last time, but I think
Well, when we recorded that podcast, there were a lot of questions that weren't answered at the time, but now they are.
yeah, a decent bit of more at least.
We recorded that podcast, I think, 3 days after they announced the Switch,
Yeah,
so
it's
it
like
was
super
still
after.
very, very fresh. We didn't know shit about it. We know
Yeah.
a lot more now, so.
yeah.
Lots of speculation.
I mean,
Lots.
and what's cool is that we can revisit this in a few weeks because I think January 12th is the date that they said that they're actually going to be holding the actual official press conference and releasing all the specs and details
Cool.
for the Switch.
Very cool.
Yes.
So we'll have another podcast talking about the Switch again in like 2 weeks.
You know what I'm excited most about the Switch? They
What?
announced, I think, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, they announced GameCube games are going to be on the Virtual Console.
What?
Confirmed. Yes.
Yeah.
Holy
Yes.
shit!
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. About time they did something like that. Because
Right.
Yes.
that's crazy that they were doing some Wii games on the Virtual Console, like very limited ones, but they were doing some Wii games on the Virtual Console, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, even like some Game Boy games. They fucking put Pokemon Red, Yellow, and Blue on there.
Yeah.
Now, the GameCube Virtual Console, that's only going to be on the Switch. It's not going to be available for the Wii U, correct?
Yeah, it's going to be
Okay.
strictly for Switch. I think
Or
And, you
or
know,
you can
it-
just download the Dolphin emulator on a PC and play games that way.
I could do that now because I have a PC that can handle it.
Anyway.
Holy
continue.
shit. Anyway.
Pirating, yay!
Yeah.
No, it's not pirating. ROMs are completely legal.
Okay,
Really?
fine.
Yes, ROMs are legal.
They are legal.
They are illegal? Is that
They
what you're saying?
are legal.
Legal.
Yeah, they're-
How do they get away with that?
It's there's I don't know
Plangent.
the exact reason, but there's some technical reasons behind it as to why. Like for instance, I know for a fact with the like PlayStation's very very strict with their copyright. Hence why the PlayStation 3 you couldn't record gameplay footage through HDMI. You had to use it. You had to do it through a component
Yeah.
plug.
There's a way around that.
PS4 still like that.
No,
too.
there is.
That's what I'm using.
Component cables.
No.
Yeah, so but for that reason, I know with there was a PlayStation ROM emulator called the PSX or like the PSX emulator.
Yeah.
And how they got around with that one is that you downloaded the emulator, but the emulator didn't have a specific source, like an activation source code that allows the emulator to work. And because you had to get that separately through another source, it was legal to download the emulator and use the emulator. And so you just had to find another website and download just that like patch code that you inserted into it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really excited for the Switch.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I like,
Thanks.
I'm actually getting more excited now because we had this conversation about a month and a half ago now that I was kind of on the fence about the Switch. Actually, I think a lot of us were.
Yeah. I think I was on board more than the both of you. Just because,
Yes.
I was sold when they showed Skyrim on that damn thing.
Yes.
Dude, the Skyrim sold my wife on it too. So I feel bad.
That's so fucking cool.
I'm still not sold on it yet.
I'm
It's still not a day one purchase for me yet.
What would make it a day one purchase for you? What's the one thing you'd be like,
The
okay.
one thing that would make it a day one purchase for me is 3DS digital content.
Yeah, it's probably
like
that's not
virtual-
going to happen.
I
I think they
know.
actually confirmed
I would
that.
say I can understand that for you because you don't have a 3DS, do you?
I don't have the only handheld I have is the Vita because I got it with my PS4. And I actually enjoy that feature. The remote play feature is excellent.
That is a cool feature for the. I wish Sony actually supported that damn thing. They stopped.
I wish.
They
Dude,
stopped making
Isn't that
them
a bunch
6
of
months
bullshit
ago.
that they're like, we're gonna develop this fucking console that's solely focused around this bullshit thing, and then they don't support it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if they do that for the Switch, like, or not that, but if they do the 3DS Virtual Console, just like the more popular titles, and the Wii U Virtual Console,
Wii
Like,
U, I don't see them doing it.
I don't see them doing it either. But I always skip a generation in Nintendo consoles.
I usually do too. All right, I don't. Yeah, because I didn't. My first DS was a 3DS. I didn't get any DS before that. DS, DSi, DS Lite, none of them. I didn't get any of them. I got the 3DS. That was my first one I got.
So I got the N64. I skipped the GameCube. I got the Wii. I skipped the Wii U. So I'm probably going to get the Switch. But it would be fantastic if I can play Wii and Wii U titles, such as the Wind Waker HD remake.
We you'll be able to probably because Wii is like so far out of the gate now, like it's just gone that they will probably add some like larger Wii ones. But to be honest, like the Wii was such a party style gaming console.
Oh, yeah.
There's very few exclusives that you'll really want to play.
That was the casual console.
Correct.
Like, oh, dude, like that was like the Wii was the staple in the game in the fucking family's household, like everywhere,
Everyone
because there's
had a
such a
Wii.
novelty, and you can get it for
Right.
so cheap. You could buy a new Wii for like $130, and so there's no purpose for you not to own one. And then it was like it got your kids active, so it was like they made so much money off that shit.
Active.
Yeah. So it's like there's very few games that yeah.
The new
So
ones.
Getting that
there's-
jerk off muscle ready.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. They had an SNL skit like that.
Did they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll show you if you have time. I'll show you later.
Okay.
But one of the cool things is I don't know if y'all saw this, but Nintendo licensed a few new patents for the Switch. One of them is
not.
that they're planning to try to make their way into the VR market.
Ooh.
So well, it's actually very interesting the way that they developed it because the patents that they trademarked and registered has to have diagrams to show, and they were leaked. And one of them was, it's basically because you know how basically the Switch is a tablet that basically you can add peripherals to it.
Yeah.
The idea is that it's going to be a headset that you just slip the tablet in the front of it.
That's interesting.
I'm
Why do you-
immediately starting
why
to
do you-
think about like the Samsung Gear.
But
Dude,
VR.
that's the Gear VR. Like, I promise you, if you were to try an Oculus or a PlayStation VR.
No, I'm with
like-
you, but like having that type of screen
But-
that's not designed.
No, but the VR thing that they could develop could orient the lens in a way that when you put the Switch in there,
that's how it
transfers
does. That's how it does. Like it basically it turns into
That's
a
how it do.
it turns into a stereoscopic image. Also, as much shit as we give the Samsung VR, the Samsung Gear VR is the most purchased VR,
Which is
in
very
the most
unfortunate.
all of them. And, well, not necessarily because there are some that are more generically used for phones. Like they have one at GameStop you can get right now for $15. That
The
works. with
Evo?
your
Isn't that
phone.
the cardboard one?
No, that's Google Cardboard. This one's just like some other bullshit one.
It's like Evo something.
I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
I almost bought it the other day because it was fucking $15. Especially since I get my discount at the moment. Like the employee.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like as much as we give it, it's the most widely consumed, and that kind of shows the versatility of the Switch. The fact that they have this plan for the Switch to be a tablet, handheld, and a console, but they're trying to think innovatively to make it relevant in multiple facets, like making it to where like if you want to play some VR games or have some VR experiences, you can buy a headset and fucking slip it in and bam, VR. You don't have to buy a whole new thing for it.
Two things that now come to mind as you were talking. One, that shit's gonna be heavy.
Because of the size of the screen, I can see your point with that.
Yes.
That would probably be heavy on my face.
Two, I feel like this might. Yes, they're still in the stage where they can build the Switch to implement this technology and whatnot. But I still feel like this is just like an afterthought.
Here's a question: is the Switch that they've revealed, is that a prototype model, or is that that's the legit?
No,
like,
that's the
That's a
Switch.
legit Switch.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, interesting enough,
Legit Switch.
apparently at so Rooster Teeth, they have their
Own payroll and
they have their own conventions,
What
and they have
the fuck are you
the
talking about?
they have the
Oh, okay.
RTX Australia convention that they're doing, and they're gonna have live Switch demo units.
RTX Rooster Teeth Experience
Expo.
Expo
It's their own convention that they hold.
PHX.
Somebody write that down.
But yeah, so Rooster Teeth, they do their RTX, which is here in Texas, or I say here in Texas, it's in Texas, and then they have one that's in Australia, and it's
Sorry.
Focus, Eric. Focus.
Ben.
anyway, they're gonna have a fucking Nintendo Switch demo unit, asshole.
Sorry. Just keep thinking about PH.
PHX.
Yeah, so that's really cool that they're gonna
Yeah.
have that there, but like the more the time goes on, like so they publicly announced that the graphics architecture is actually going to be a gen behind the current generation. So it's not up to date generation. So there are concerns with the VR in that it's actually going to be Like the PlayStation 4 is having problems supporting VR. So how could a console on a previous generation graphics architecture support VR as well?
Yep.
So there are questions behind that, but at the same time, no matter what, it's still going to be better than the current gen console for Nintendo.
Yes.
And I think one of the big things that Nintendo has going for them is that they know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a bridge and make a more universal handheld experience, which they've been trying to do for a while. They tried to do it with the Wii U. Just the Wii U fucking flopped hard.
I think the only way they're actually going to pull that off, though, is that they start making games that are typically on handhelds onto the Switch. Pokemon.
Well, I mean, obviously there are the
Yes.
talks of making the remakes, like the Sun and Moon remake specifically for the Switch.
Still hasn't been confirmed yet. Cool idea, and it'd be great if that actually does happen and comes to fruition, but
Yeah.
at the moment, it's just a rumor.
I would imagine if they're trying to make a bridge between the two, they would have to release at least some handheld.
Some handheld.
Also, I think, to be honest, like if I were to add on to that, I think the real selling point for it is for them to have full AAA release titles compatible on the Switch, like they're trying to do with Skyrim. I think that will be a big selling point because I feel like that is closer to what the PS Vita was trying to do, but I feel like that Nintendo's approaching it in a better way than Sony
Yes.
did.
You know what would sell it for me? New Metroid.
New Metroid?
New Metroid.
See, you know, it's funny. Like I'm
Metroid Prime?
Or
like side-scrolling Metroid?
No, Metroid
Okay.
Prime.
Okay.
See,
Just wanted to clarify.
I'm gonna have an unpopular opinion right here.
As all your opinions.
Can you
That's
imagine?
true.
Let's talk about Metroid. Fuck Alex. Let's talk about Metroid.
No. I do want to hear Alex's thing, but I just thought, okay, so like Nintendo, like trying to do like a VR thing, Metroid Prime in VR. We just imagine that.
Well, so I want to add on to that VR experience. So one of the things I think the VR for the Switch could work is Ben and I were pointing at each other. Is you
With
put
our
the
dicks.
screen in, but the joysticks that you take off are already wireless and in each hand.
That's a very good
I was-
point.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
And so that makes it automatically a little bit easier accessible and compatible with a VR experience. You're more sold on it now. I just remembered thinking about that.
I don't know if I'm sold on it yet.
But still, like you're
But
more
it's
you're
getting
more
there.
sold. Yeah,
It's getting there. Okay,
Like
it's
I
getting
think
there.
I'm just gonna say this before I go back to what I was gonna. Actually, I'm gonna say this real quick.
No, go for
So
Motherfucking
I would consider myself an average Nintendo fanboy. I don't like Metroid games.
That's fair.
I just don't.
My one complaint about them is the backtracking. I know that's like a staple of Metroid games, but backtracking kind of irks me sometimes. But the gameplay is pretty solid on those Metroid Primes. Yeah, I like them.
Because I skipped the GameCube, I never got
Oh, dude,
into the
do you have a Wii?
Prime.
Because they got the Metroid Prime trilogy where they like revamped them all.
That
three
shit's
of them for the
hard to
Wii.
find.
I mean, yeah.
Amazon that shit. It's going to be well over $100.
I had one.
You
then
shoulda kept
Plain
it.
Trade has it for like we had one new, like sealed, for over $100.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Yeah, dude. It had like the poster and everything though, so it
Dude.
was worth it. It was
Dude,
a steelbook.
I'm
too.
looking it up right now.
Steelbook, Ben.
What?
It was a steelbook.
What? Okay, I'm buying it right now.
You're full of shit. You're not gonna buy a $100
Fuck
GameCube
no, I'm not
game.
going to buy that shit right now.
Yeah, you
You're buying a $100 steelbook.
I am.
But yeah. So I think that idea that we were talking about with the Switch and being VR, that is I feel like that idea, not the VR idea, but the idea that they're already thinking of ways to expand the gameplay capabilities of the Switch through its versatility is starting to sell me more on the console. How much?
$156.
$156.
A drop in the bucket.
And it doesn't say anything about fucking Steelbook. You liar.
Look, the one we had was a steelbook.
Yeah. So go fuck
Whatever.
yourself.
Whatever.
Yeah. So
Dude.
so
Dirk.
So I think it's really cool that Nintendo is trying to focus heavily on supporting their own product with not only first party but third party peripherals to enhance different experiences and create different experiences. And I think that in that one area, I think it's really smart that they're trying to make a modular console. I feel like that this is this is the first time that a modular console was ever attempted. Because I feel like that modular experiences are something that I've seen attempted. Like they had a few years ago, they had that. I think it was a Kickstarter called Foam Blocks. It was a completely modular smartphone where you bought like a Foam Blocks base and you can buy all the different components you wanted to make your own custom
yeah.
smartphone.
saw that.
Yeah.
And so And then they're actually, I think it's MSI is working on producing a modular motherboard. So you buy the motherboard base, and you can actually replace components on the motherboard. So like, one of the bad things about motherboards is because they're so expensive and they're a primary component to a computer, that once it gets out of date, it's hard to replace. But let's say if like a chipset on the motherboard goes out of date on this modular, and you can actually replace it with an updated chipset, so you can actually have an up-to-date motherboard without buying a whole new one. Things like that.
That's neat.
I know
Man,
you
what
have
the
no
fuck
idea.
are you smirking at?
I was gonna make a really bad joke about like, oh wow, so you can like change your graphics card, and like you can put your own processor on it.
So dumb.
I know,
Yeah, I was,
and that's why I was gonna be quiet about it. But y'all motherfuckers wanted to call me
You're
out
right.
on
You
it.
fucking kept looking at me like, I got a funny joke.
But like,
I know, like, because like whenever you're about to laugh, like your face gets super red and scrunched. so you're like this. You're like.
hey, just in
Jody
time.
dropped
You brought your whole
in.
computer?
Damn, dude.
God damn, that's
That's fucking
dedication.
I was just gonna plug it to my computer.
Well, I figured it would take less time just to bring mine, hook mine up, because mine's already got everything installed on it.
Man,
Okay,
okay, I
that's fine.
didn't realize how much you fucking love Kojima.
Yeah.
Sucking that dick.
Sucking
It's a
that
good dick to
dick.
suck, though.
Dude,
I bet.
speaking of Kojima, did you see that Kojima stole a top developer from
Yeah,
Konami?
I saw that.
I saw that this morning.
So Kojima,
Breaking news.
Kojima, so Jody joined us, and he's not gonna be on the podcast. He's just hanging out. Kojima stole one of the top developers from Konami to come and work for him.
Oh, wow.
So that's like the
Yes.
third big ol' fuck you Kojima gave to Konami.
Yes. It's
So
fantastic.
I love it
Kojima's
so
the
much.
best.
Oh
That's
shit.
fantastic.
But yeah,
All right,
so
what were we talking about?
we were talking about the Switch.
The Switch.
Um,
All right,
Switch
I know
VR.
we
This is
were
the same
talking
week
about
we're talking about VR.
Yeah, I
Worth
know.
it, though. Fucking love VR.
All
And
right,
then-
so Alex,
Yeah.
what will make the Switch a day one purchase for you?
Dude, to be honest, I don't even know anymore. Like, I'm very much a specs guy. I want to know exactly what kind of hardware I'm working with, because I want to know exactly what I'm gonna be limited by. Like, I don't like being in the dark with a purchase. I like to do a lot of research. So like, I'm more likely to buy something even if I know it's underpowered, as long as I know exactly what I can expect from
Which
it.
is true because you've been talking about this fucking IKEA thing in this desk for like 3 months.
I know. And so, like, I want to, like, once I know all the specs on it, it doesn't matter if it's underpowered. As long as I know exactly what's going to be in it and I know exactly what I can expect from it, I will be way more on board with buying it day one. But because I know nothing about it, I cannot make that call at the moment.
Okay, so in a couple of weeks, whenever they do the announcement, do you think they're going to release hardware specs?
Oh, yeah. From what I understand,
Okay,
like,
then we'll
it's
talk about
going
it
it's
then.
going to be a full press conference release for it. Like, they're going to talk about all the details of it, including launch releases, launch date, launch price, everything. That's another thing, is price.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll spend more than $300 on it.
Good point.
If it's more than $300, I will wait. If it's $300 or less, there's a higher chance of me getting it day one. Now, that being said, there is a rumor. So there's going to be less units in stock on day one than the Wii U had.
No, that's confirmed.
Yes.
They're actually selling.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surprise!
That was when we did the first podcast. That was one of my complaints, is that like Nintendo doesn't know how to mark.
Well,
like
they
don't
do
know how to.
know how to.
No, right now they're having a huge problem. So I work at GameStop, as most of the audience and you two know. Right now, my store manager was talking to our Nintendo rep, and apparently the Nintendo rep has no idea what's going on, but like the DSs, like 3DSs and 2DSs, are in
Sold out everywhere.
super high demand, and we only get one of each every 2 weeks in stock. Like apparently Nintendo does this thing where their fiscal quarters and their fiscal year ends at a different time than most other companies.
Oh,
so
shit.
their fiscal quarter or their fiscal year ends in like January or February. And so because
Well, no,
they're
that's just typical.
no, like our at Starbucks, our fiscal year ends in October.
That's different.
So the Christmas time is the beginning of the fiscal year, which is smart because that means you start the year off very strong. But
That's
because
different because like even Best Buy's, their end of the fiscal year is like February, March.
okay, well I know that Nintendo's is different, so it might be like January. The beginning of January might be the end of
Okay,
it. So
okay.
Christmas time is the end of their fiscal year, so they don't want to overproduce and undersell products and be sitting on a lot of units, and so they're underproducing them at the end of their fiscal year, which is one of the things that they're having problems with.
starving your consumer base is a really weird strategy to get people wanting your product.
Demand that lower supply increases demand. People keep talking about it and they want it. Like let's say that we're sitting around on the coffee table saying, you know what? I'm trying to get little Jimmy this damn 3DS thing, and it's so hard to get. And it's sold out everywhere. That then puts in your mind, shit, that must be really popular.
But
What if
also,
little Tommy
one of the
wants
problems is that Christmas time is not the time to do that. Because
You're correct.
as soon as Christmas is over, all those people are going to be like, I don't care. I don't give a shit about getting anymore. Christmas is over. I don't need to get a present for my kid anymore.
But do you
They're not going to give a shit about it anymore.
But do you think the people that are buying these things are actually looking into, like, let's talk about like the older generation buying for their kids? They're not looking into like, man, it must be sold out. That must mean everybody wants one. They're not thinking Nintendo's not producing enough.
No, well, no, because I'm telling everybody that Nintendo's not producing enough. I'm letting you know that.
Okay, well that's fine.
But because that's the thing is we get blamed as game store employees for not
Yeah.
having any in stock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
just-
we get the brunt of it. So I have to be like, no, you blame
Shift that
Nintendo.
blame.
Yeah, you
Throw
blame
Nintendo under the bus.
Just
Like
Make it
seriously,
beast.
like Nintendo's basically driving the bus they're running themselves over with.
It's like Ghost Track the whip.
No, it's like
Ghost
literally
Ride the bus.
literally what it is like they drove a bus as fast as possible and then they jumped out the front window and had the bus hit them. And so
That's a good visual.
but seriously
Picture
though,
Shigeru.
Reggie.
dude, like seriously, they're
My body is ready.
oh my God. Like they're doing such stupid things and they're just like they're not paying attention to that. And I guarantee you, every single person that's coming in to get a 3DS, 2DS, or the Nintendo, there's a handful of people that actually want the Nintendo, but all of them are coming to get it for Christmas specifically. Like there's one lady who she calls my GameStop every day trying to get a 3DS because that is the only thing she hasn't been able to get for her kid for Christmas. As soon as Christmas is over, she won't give a fuck about it anymore. I promise you that. And so Nintendo is shooting themselves in the foot because they could be making so much money because Christmas season in America is huge. Japan probably not as much. But in America, Christmas season is huge. That's why every single business does like triple the business in Christmas, including fucking Starbucks. Like we're so much busier in Christmas time.
I'm with you.
But that's my
Jody.
tangent, sorry.
Yes.
What will make a day one purchase for the Nintendo Switch for you?
I think it's already gonna happen. Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild? That's it?
Well, Breath of the Wild might be coming to the Wii U as well. So you have a Wii U.
What's a Wii U?
He needs to have the best. He needs to have
Just
the
like you
best
needed a reason to spend
experience.
$700 on a Vive.
Worth it.
You don't need a reason.
Dude.
You just need one.
I have a story to tell you after the podcast is over. But we've actually been recording for about 45 minutes. I think now would be a good time to stop.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
sure.
so.
Sure.
Tell us what you think in the comments below about the Nintendo Switch. Your thoughts on it. What would be the selling point for you guys at home? Thanks for listening. My name's Eric.
My name is Alex.
My name's John.
I was waiting for it. You
I knew he was gonna do it. Fucking. We'll
fucker.
catch y'all next week. Y'all have a great day.
Peace.
Bye.
Comment, like, subscribe.